I mean, what do you do when you're angry?
Math.
Okay, what about when you're sad?
Math.
Happy?
Math.
So every feeling you have makes you want to do math?
I do not know if it is so much cause and effect. I do a lot of math. The feelings come and go.
These little creeps have destroyed our backyard, leaving this ugly mess in its place.
The image of the modern Indian American is truly depressing. They are seen as weak, both physically and mentally, stereotypically nerdy and incredibly awkward. The spread of this stereotype alongside the normalization of racism against Indian Americans can be attributed largely to the portrayal of them on American television shows. Just take a look at Disney Channel's Phineas and Ferb. At first, it seems like any other children's television show. Two brothers work with their friends on wacky inventions that often end up accidentally saving those around from the evil dealings of Dr. Heinz Doofenshmirtz, a mad scientist. However, upon taking a closer look at the show, one young man stands out. Baljit Jinder, an Indian American boy, rarely fits in with the other characters. He is comically awkward, spends excessive time doing math and studying while other children are on summer vacation, and is constantly bullied by those around him. If this weren't enough, Baljit comes from a self-described long line of losers. His great-grandfather, grandfather, and father have all been killed in tiger attacks, and as if that wasn't all, he literally dirties his pants when presented with physical confrontation. Really? Making fun of Indian doesn't stop there. Television shows repeatedly mock Indian culture, a phenomenon exhibited by the show Jessie. The show portrays Ravi as a young Indian American character who maintains an excessively strong Indian accent. Ravi is awkward, weak, and constantly bullied by other characters on the show. Other shows, including popular sitcom The Big Bang Theory, also have characters who play the stereotypical Indian American image. Television is an integral part of American culture. It shapes how we act in our everyday lives as well as how we view ourselves. The way the television shows portray Indian Americans is not only racist, but provides a depressing image for youngsters. This relentless attack in the name of comedy has real-world impacts on the way we are viewed in real life, both by members of our group and society as a whole. This portrayal of Indian as awkward shells of human beings tells the next generation that we must fit this image, that these people on television are our future. Those who defend this portrayal argue that this is just a joke. But it stops being a joke the moment people are killed in hate crimes. It stops being a joke the moment an Indian American embraces the stereotype and becomes a real-life Ravi in order to get laughs. It stops being a joke the moment a fifth grader gets bullied like Baljit, because his classmates think it is acceptable, even normal, to treat him that way. This blatant stereotyping and racism is somehow normalized and considered acceptable in the name of comedy. Indians had a rich history of martial arts culture, but nowadays, on an average, an Indian male seems weak and seldom interested in exercising or physical training. Why is it so? It is because we are taught to pay more attention to studies rather than physical activities. India has fallen far behind. Our original ancient Vedic culture was very mgtow and red-pilled. There were 4 phases of life: student, householder, retired, and renunciate, each 25 years long. Men used to live for at least 100 years in olden days. Association with women was only permitted under householder phase of life, and only as married. No prostitutes. No dating, no friends. Sex was only for procreation, not for enjoyment. Women were submissive to their husbands, and chastity and shyness was the only ornament and beauty of a woman. They belonged in the house, taking care of the children, cooking, cleaning, etc. Divorce didn't even exist as a concept in Indian culture. There is no word for it in Sanskrit. Our achievements were unparalleled, both in the spiritual and the material sciences. Then we let go of our values and our faith in the scriptures for Western cultures. Granted, they were forced upon us by invaders and conquerors, but we never returned to our old ways after they left. It has been the greatest misfortune of India, and Indian youth now is one of the most of social justice warriors, soy boys, feminized, pussy-worshipping, pedestalizing, and desperate group of humans. Now, we never treated females as bitches, but everyone knew their place in society and in the scheme of things. There is still some hope for us because people are starting to wake up and realize that worshipping women gets us nowhere. The problem, and blessing at the same time, is that divorce laws here are not as stacked in favors of women as in the West. So even unhappy marriages usually continue till the end of life. Problem, men put up with much more nonsense from women. Blessing, women can't divorce rape men as easily. India has a tradition of worshipping the feminine divine which stretches through the world's oldest unbroken civilization. Woman is the main binding force of material existence. She is one of the two main traps of illusions. Her only function is to expand a living entity's material existence, and increase his false ego by making him her so-called lord, master, and controller, thereby making him forget the supreme lord, and ultimately controlling the living entity by making him forget his real purpose. You will notice that in the beginning, if you are a strong, driven, alpha male with real goals and pursuits in life, women will be drawn to you and will offer themselves to you with the hopes of being included in your life. As soon as you become attached to them and make their well-being and maintenance one of your primary goals, they will quickly lose attraction for you and break up or divorce you and take as much of your assets as they can with them. What happens here is that you originally had a purpose, but you were deceived by the woman who made you the lord of her physical body but gained control over your mind. A good rule of thumb is that subtle is always more powerful than grosser. Giving up control of the subtle mind which was previously dedicated to your life's purpose in exchange for the control of a gross physical body of a female is a bad bargain. Note that this control is only for a few years before she leaves, wrecking you emotionally and financially, and the body is aging the whole time. Now you know the position of women in ancient Indian society, which was designed around sound and eternal spiritual principles. The picture we see today of woman's role and position in society is completely reversed. Women empowerment. Women possess lesser intelligence than men. I'm not talking about IQ, although I think they possess lesser material intelligence as well. I'm talking about the ability and capacity to understand universe or God. They lack the equipment to approach God or spiritual realization. That said, any class or type of living entity, especially human beings, can achieve God realization by avoiding illusions, but it comes more naturally to some than others. So instead of being servile to their husbands and being attached to them, they are torturing their husbands, making them work harder and in general being a liability than an asset to their husbands. Then we come to adultery, abortions, and divorce rape. These things count in the cosmic law. They are meticulously recorded, and the bad karma these women accrue makes me shudder. Abortion, especially as a heinous crime as the human birth, is extremely rare and achieved after many lifetimes. The human form of life is very valuable as it is especially meant for God realization and is superior to all other species of life for this purpose. Killing off a human being before they have a chance to mature and follow this purpose is abominable. I honestly think that this empowerment of women and the conditioning that men undergo from a young age to get married, have kids, and settle down is a ploy by evil society to make man more entangled in a materialistic existence and stop them from working towards self-realization, spiritual goals, and seeing through and waking up from the matrix. If India goes back to its roots, then yes, we will be leaders of the world very soon. Yes, I am an Indian. Yes, I am a fan of Indian culture and traditions. Those writings can elevate anyone's life.